Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins then, shall we? And just obviously the usual. But before we do that, we're going to have a look at, first of all, just Bitcoin dominance, okay? So, dominance chart kind of clearly looking bullish on the daily now, broken above that 50 exponential and been supported on there. 12 hourly, golden cross, coming down a little bit though, so a bit of a rejection as we saw on the daily, corresponding back down to the 4 hourly. So the alts will likely bounce better at this level when and if and when the market gets brought down again. Now, I was trying to prophesize a dump that would take place between Wednesday and Thursday, so it actually happened a little earlier, so it happened last night, but it wasn't overwhelming. I mean, it was for the altcoins, let's face facts. I mean, it was pretty devastating for some of these, like SXP for instance, and Harmony One as well. Some of these coins that I'm following because I'm getting ready to buy them back, but for Bitcoin it was a bit, it was a couple of percent at best. It wasn't what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that 10,000 really to get tested and broken down below. So there's a few things we've got to look at to try and work out if that's going to happen and when that will happen. So we'll move away from the dominance charts we've established already. Excuse me. We've already established that that alts will bounce well after a drop, but what we need to work out now is there going to be a drop? So we'll go back to the Dixie chart before we look at crypto, and this looks to me as though it's found I mean, I said this before when we reached this level that we found a top, but we're outside of the Bollinger Band now. Even though the chart is very bullish, and it's very bullish, it has to be brought back within that Bollinger Band. So we came out of there dramatically yesterday, hence the dump, and we're still out of there now, sort of looking to be sucked back in. But I still think that this is, we're going to find a more on this before it goes down. So the levels I'm looking for would be close to 95, and then when we get brought back down, I would likely say that we'd find a support around 93.89, wherever this 50 exponential is going to be is where I would expect to see the support on this, or thereabouts. So we are coming back down a little bit. So like I say, I am prophesizing another dump, but it doesn't look like it's ripe for that at the moment. But again, we've got to trade off the back of this, and at the moment the chart is bullish, even though we're outside the Bollinger Band. That dump might not happen today, but it has every chance of blowing its top off on this Dixie chart, because everything else on this is bullish. We'll go down to the lower time frames just for fun, and yeah, we've got our golden cross there, and MACD looks like it's wanting to come back down into itself. So actually this does, to me at this stage now, look like it does want to come down a little bit actually before it goes back up. Center of the Bollinger Band hanging around the 94 level, so not a great drop if it were to drop, but that would be enough to sustain some decent moves towards to the up. So maybe be careful if you're looking to short around these levels. I think the levels after the dump yesterday probably not that profitable in the short term if you were looking to short. But I'm not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. If you want to short, if you want to long, it's your call, not mine. But me personally, I think in this sense, when the daily chart looks bullish, but towards a local top, and the 4 hourly looks like it wants to come back down ever so slightly to around 94, that it's neither here nor there, and whichever way it's going to go, it'll transpire onto the other assets. So maybe there is more moves to the up or across the board today, and that will probably, if we end up closing around this area or lower, it will lead to at least the first part of a bullish weekend for crypto. But we're not even Friday yet. We're still Thursday, so we can't really say anything in great sense of certainty there. So let's have a look at Bitcoin first, then we'll have a look at XRP. So Bitcoin coming back to test the areas which it lost yesterday, which is the resistance box, this blue box territory, beginning at 10,379 and ending all the way up here at 10,566, which is also where this 10 exponential is now crossed into. So that would be, if we did make a rally and did try to make a big move up, it would almost certainly be rejected at that level. So we will not well, I mean, I can't say anything really, but I'll be very, very, very surprised if we took out this level here, 10,583, top of the blue box, and also the 10 exponential moving average. Let's have a look at this. So we've got our cross on the MACD now, negative cross in bearish territory. Not looking good for the long, I say mid-term, the next week or so. It's not looking very good for it. It's only a fresh cross today. These are bounces from the bottom that we found yesterday, which wasn't exquisitely low, was it really? I mean, it was a little higher than what I expected it, but I didn't expect this to touch 10,000 or break it yesterday. And again, you know, I only get to make 1 or maybe 2 videos a day at best. So if you want to join my Telegram, there's a link below. Join the Telegram. I'm a little bit more vocal on there, more frequently than I make videos. So it might benefit you if you want to ask me questions or let me know what your trades are, because that's generally what my Telegram's about. It's a community rather than me dictating to everybody what to do and what not to do. There's more successful traders in there than me. I can tell you that much. Right, so that is Bitcoin. So short term, we could have a bounce, perhaps maybe all the way up to the top of this blue box territory. So that would be we'll measure that move out now, how much that would be from the current price action all the way to the top. That's a 1.5% move. Underwhelming, definitely, but if that were to happen, then I'd imagine with the state of the Bitcoin dominance now finding a top here, that the alts would rally a bit harder. So maybe a time, you know, if you're willing, if you've got the balls on you, and if you believe in it, then maybe buy some alts and see where that takes you. But again, my overall picture here is definitely to the down. So these are just temporary bounces, and I suppose if you didn't buy in that big dip that we had yesterday, maybe now might not be the greatest time to buy. Yesterday, when we watched this on the Telegram that I've spoken about, I did say that I think this would be the area, and some of us did buy some alts back. But again, just for a temporary bounce, you know, we're not long in. Well, some people are, but we're not going crazy on this. We're being realistic. I believe that the direction is still to the down, and there'll be more downtrending to have. So this isn't, you know, don't put your life savings in. This isn't the bottom. It certainly isn't the bottom, in my opinion. There's more area to go, but we are now finding a bounce, and the alts will probably find a decent bounce. Let's go to XRP. So XRP, the super bearish chart, certainly worse than Bitcoin, and we are being sucked back within that Bollinger Band, which is what Bollinger Bands like to do. They're like gravity. They bring you back in, and that's basically what's happening here. Now, we've only just come back in. So from the price action we're at right now, the top that I would imagine us, if we were to ever get this high again, would be all the way up to 23.6 cents. Very, very unlikely. That would be basically coming up above the 200 exponential to test that 10 simple, the 10 exponential. I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's most likely to happen is that we will have a little bit more of an anemic bounce, but we're all waiting to see what the Dixie wants to do. And if the Dixie wants to continue up, then these will basically be brought back down. And I don't think they'll be brought back down in a massive way with a huge dump. Not yet. The dump is going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen quite yet. Bitcoin basically found significant areas of resistance around this level. Support around this level. So that in itself should save the pain for the alts in the very short term. This bounce should be better for the alts, and even XRP will probably outperform Bitcoin ever so slightly on this bounce. Let's have a look at the other indicators here. So we are on the daily here. So we've got our MACD cross from a few days ago, and the RSI finding a low point here with a bit of a move to the up. The money flow index is actually quite low. So if it did get if we were to have a big dump, I think this the next big dump would be the area to buy back, because that should push this money flow index below this cutoff territory, where usually it's a good sign to buy. Now you might obviously go down lower than that, but generally if we find ourselves below this dotted line, it's super oversold and ready for a bounce, and that's what I'd expect, and I'd probably expect that with Bitcoin too. Let's have a look at the money flow index. It's completely different, actually. Completely different for that of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin can come down a lot further. So if we did have a big dump, and I'm talking about a big dump down to this white line here, which is the CME gap that people have been hanging on to dear life waiting for this to fill, this would be the bottom area of that CME gap, and if it did come down there, the money flow index would completely be annihilated for XRP, and I imagine it would be exactly the same for some of these other altcoins that have really suffered. XRP not really suffered as much as many of the others, but it looks like there's more suffering to go. So I would expect that if and when we do get that big dump and we come back down to fill that CME gap and everybody is satisfied with that because we've filled it to its entirety, so we're talking 9,600, if that were to happen, then the alts need to be bought back. That's how I'll be doing it. I'm not saying you need to buy any alts, don't buy any alts, do whatever you want. But for me, I'll be buying the alts, and I'll be buying the ones that have been significantly hurt, I would probably say. Things like SXP, Harmony One, and I'll be probably dividing my my money up between some of these super demolished alts like that, maybe a bit of Anchor, but then I'll also be buying some of the stronger ones like BNB, which isn't particularly strong, but you know, more reliable. BNB. Obviously, I'll be going long on the obvious ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and I'll tell you what I've been liking as well recently is Matic. Matic has held up quite well, and I always find it amazing when people talk about scams. Everything's a scam. This is a scam. XRP is a scam. Matic's a scam. It's a scam. It's only a scam for people who lose their money. They're the ones who feel like they've been scammed. For the people who sold to those people, it's not a scam at all. It's cryptocurrency, and that's why we like it. All right, we like it because it's volatile. Otherwise, we'd just trade other things, wouldn't we? We don't. We like to trade cryptocurrency because it's extremely volatile. I suppose it can be a good laugh if you're on the right side of it. Obviously, if you're not on the right side of it, you end up calling it a scam. But you see some of these other coins that have just tanked recently, all that DeFi business. I'm not saying anything of that is a scam. You'll find scams on other platforms, definitely. But generally speaking, you know, they're overbought to the max, massively overbought, and they're not scams, but unfortunately you've fallen victim to the FOMO, and that's what's happened, and I'm sorry about that, but it depends on what you've bought. I imagine most of these things by the end of next year will have more than recovered, because that'll be the end of the bull market, and you know, everything should be okay for you. But just try and get a little bit of a grip on yourself, because when you're calling things like XRP and Matic a scam, just take a look at how they've performed during this bear market. Pretty bad. And it's not a bear market really. It's a major pullback. It's pretty bad. Let's not mix our words up a bit. But from here to here, that's Bitcoin, and that is a almost 21% move. And is this the highest wick there or there? From here to here, that is a 30% move back. And now that might sound a lot, because it is a lot. That is a lot. But look at SXP. We're down to almost $1 from its all-time high not that long ago, a couple of months, of $5. I mean, come on now. Come on. Right, well, I'm going to leave it with you there. I hope that was reasonably informative, but in summary, all I'm saying is that we're waiting for the dollar to go one way or another. A pullback wouldn't be so bad, because it looks like it wants that, but the chart is bullish. It is subject to tinkering by the Fed, so it can be brought down manually, I suppose, by them at any point. But as far as the chart's concerned, it is bullish. However, you know, it may be reaching a top at the moment. So if it did go any further, it would be ripe for a big pullback, and that will then cause rallies. If it did, basically, the summary is, I would be expecting another dump, followed by a giant bounce. Okay, so that is in summary. That is all I really needed to say. In fact, I didn't even need to do this whole video. I could have just said, look, you know, I'll summarize it in 30 seconds or less. Everything's going to dump again one more time, and then it will bounce from there and have a really big, strong rally. So that the next move down is definitely the one to be buying. In my opinion, you do what you want, but for me, the next big dump is the one to buy back. And I know that people want Bitcoin to come down a hell of a lot more, and I'm not saying it's not going to, but I'm just saying the big buyback will be the next big dump, and that should be it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it to you with you there. And when I say that'll be it, I don't mean that'll be it completely. It could come down a lot further, but that big buyback is going to be the big one to go in on spot. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.